Hello, hello, hello. I'm your resident bibliophile and royal witch empress Celestia Libri. Welcome to today's stream, everybody. Today is a special stream. It is the first of a new series, not a very frequent series, but a new series nonetheless, for the Zodiac calendar. And we are starting off with Aries because Aries is the first constellation of said Zodiac calendar. So it doesn't start off with January. It starts off in the middle of the year, at the end of March with Aries. And so every month when a new Zodiac sign arrives, we will be doing one of these to talk about the new Zodiac of the month, or on the Zodiac calendar. So hopefully that's exciting for all of you. I find it interesting, and because of being who I am and coming from the heavens themselves. Hi, hello, Lays. I thought that this was rather appropriate to talk about the stars and heavenly bodies, and talk about their mythology, how they came to be, and that sort of thing. Nothing too fancy. And it's gonna be, some star talk. These streams will tend to be pretty short. They're not going to be all that long. It's not like there's a ton of research to be done where, we're going to be sitting here talking for 2 hours. I kind of timed it already, and it seems like it's gonna be under an hour. So these aren't going to be very long videos, but still interesting, hopefully to you guys. And yeah, we can all find out more about the constellation. Yes, there will be constellation talk. So for Aries, and it might be like this for all of the constellations, but basically I put in the research to look up, and for Aries specifically, there's like a bunch of Greek mythology, and where like the story of Aries, the ram itself, and then so there's the Greek mythology side, and then there's the astrology side. So I will be covering both. Its mythology, its origins, its, Greek story, and then also all of the astrological stuff. Like what kind of sign is it? Is it a fire sign? Is it a water sign? Is it an air sign? Traits, strengths, weaknesses, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully covering all of the bases. So yeah, hopefully that sounds interesting to you guys. And you'll tune in then every month. Like I said, every month when a new Zodiac shows up on the calendar, I will be doing one of these videos to talk about the Zodiac of that month. And that's why I am starting today, because Aries is the first Zodiac of the Zodiac calendar. And so without further ado, I'm gonna hop right into it. All right. So to start off, let's see. Bam! Here we go. Hi. I'm still here. So I do have a few slides, and yes, they will be covering me, because I want the slide to be big enough to where you can actually see what the hell is actually on the slide. If you can't see the slide well enough, and I need to enlarge it, please let me know. I don't want to have put in this effort and then have you guys not be able to see what the hell is actually on your screen. So that would be very sad. But you can still kind of see me peeking behind the scroll. So to start off, like I've already mentioned, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, or the zodiac calendar. It is represented by a ram, which you can see there. I have pictured in the top left of the scroll. That's just a ram. That's not Aries specifically. It's just a picture of a ram. We see what you look like, the colossal titan peeking over the wall. Ha ha ha. That's funny. Beware, I am a titan. If you don't pay attention, I will hurt you. I'm kidding. Oh, that's funny. Here, I can move it every now and then just so that way you can... Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. Never mind. It's not... Nope. Never mind. I was gonna say I can move it every now and then so that way you can see my face. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Hi. I think this is my birth sign. So, you'll find out here in literally just a few seconds. It is represented by a ram. Again, like I've already told you, is pictured there in the top left. Right next to it is the astrological sign for Aries. And by looking at it, you can kind of see that also looks like a ram or a ram's head. Because it's got like the two horns and then like it meets and you can almost kind of envision that as its face. But anyways, the dates for an Aries are March 21st through April 19th. So if your birthday is within those dates, you are an Aries. So that hopefully that answers your question, Lays, on whether or not you are an Aries. If you were born between March 21st through April 19th, you would be an Aries. Okay, never mind. That's funny. Alrighty. So let's talk about the Greek mythology first. All right, and get the story of Aries cemented in our brains, if you will. Rooted in ancient Greek mythology, Aries is often associated with things like jealousy and motherly love. Now, when we talk about motherly love or a mother's love in terms of Aries, we're not talking about like the nurturing, sweet, cuddly kind of mother's love. No. When we're talking about Aries, we're talking about the kind that's more like fiercely protective. All right, think like instead of nurturing and cuddly and sweet and, you know, the mother's sitting there on the rocking chair with her baby and it's all sweet and, aw, you know, think more like the mother bear analogy. Rawr, I will kill you. Okay. Fiercely protective, strong, that kind of motherly love. The ram itself possessed a golden fleece, and you will hear Aries, like another name for Aries is the golden ram. It could fly and was believed to be immortal. Bear with me, every now and then I'll go silent, and that's because I'm turning off my mic because I'm still coughing. In Greek mythology, Zeus created named Nephel, and she married King Athamas. They then bore 2 children. They had a son and a daughter, Phrixus and Helle. Okay, Nephel. Now, I got conflicting reports here, but I want to say that the latter report that I got is probably the more accurate one. I read an account that Nephel had died, but I want to say that from other research that I did, that the king actually basically like grew tired of her, and found another woman to be the object of his affections and married her. And so Nephel left. She left the picture. So, okay, not that Helle. This is spelled Helle. And I looked up the pronunciation, and it seems to be pronounced Hela, like the goddess of discord, which is spelled Hela, but this is Helle. And from my understanding of the pronunciation, it is pronounced like Hela instead of just hell. I could be wrong on that. But from the research that I did, it seems like it's pronounced Hela. So, I mean, if you want to look that up and tell me whether or not I'm right or wrong, be my guest, because I'd rather pronounce it right than pronounce it incorrectly. Let's see. So they had 2 children, Phrixus and Helle. Nephel probably left due to the king growing tired of her, and having affections for somebody else and marrying that woman. His second wife, her name was Ino, and she did not care for her 2 stepchildren. Okay, she wanted them out of the picture in like the permanent sense. And from one account that I read, it seems like she might have also had 2 children with King Athamas, but they eventually went mad, and that's what caused her to start disliking her stepchildren, is because they were perfectly fine and healthy, but her own children went mad. So there's that. Okay. So there happened to eventually come a famine in the land, which it seems like she apparently like created the famine as a part of her scheme to get rid of her stepchildren. To end the famine, King Athamas sent messengers to Delphi to seek counsel, but Ino intercepted them without the king's knowledge and either forced the messengers themselves or the oracles to declare that the only way to end the famine was for the king to sacrifice his son Phrixus. So, yikes. Now, of course, King Athamas was deeply distressed by this news. You know, who would want to sacrifice their son? I mean, come on. So he wasn't happy about this, but he was pressured by his people to fulfill what was told him to do. So, due to all of this, he actually goes to his son Phrixus to talk about, like, hey, this is what I was told to do, yada, yada, yada. Phrixus himself then actually selflessly offers himself up for sacrifice and basically tells his father, the king, like, I'm okay with going through with this. I will offer myself to end the famine for our people. Wow. And so King Athamas then orders him to be put to death. So, as Phrixus is going to the altar, to perform the deed, his mother, his real mother, Nephel, appears with a golden fleece ram. Okay. And she rescues both him and his sister Helle by placing them on the ram's back and having it fly them to safety. She then basically just disappears out of nowhere as quickly as she came. She just, boom, shows up, here's the ram, puts the kids on, makes them fly off, and then disappears. Ino little Miss Evil Stepmother, she then retreats. Okay, but the goddess Hera, the wife of Zeus, had already noticed her involvement in the whole shebang, in all of the shenanigans, and was extremely angry with her. And from my understanding, Hera would then later unleash her wrath on Ino. That's not important to this story, but just note that is something that happens in her own story later on. Alright, so back to the Golden Ram. While flying on the Golden Ram, Hela lost her grip and started to plummet downwards. Uh-oh. Alright. The Golden Ram then tries to rescue her multiple times, but is unable to, and she was lost to sea. One account that I read basically said that she, rested in Poseidon's arms, basically. Both the Golden Ram and Phrixus were grieved by this loss, but they had to continue on their journey, and did so, and they were journeying to Colchis. Now here again, I read a couple of different accounts. Either the ram added to Phrixus's grief by telling him that once they reached their destination, he would have to sacrifice the ram and present his golden fleece to the king of Colchis. So, like, he'd be losing both his sister, and then he'd have to go through this whole act of losing the ram as well. So either that, or Phrixus just did it of his own accord. And, basically, the ram didn't tell him anything. They just, arrived to their destination at Colchis, and he then offered the golden ram of his own accord to then worship Zeus. I want to say that's probably the more accurate storyline here. And so he offered the golden ram as an offering to Zeus, and then he brought the golden fleece to the king of Colchis. The king of Colchis then had the fleece put on an ancient oak tree in a blessed grove dedicated to Aries, who I have pictured there on the scroll, which also that woman on the scroll, I forgot to mention this, that's just a depiction of like a nymph representing Nephel. I'm not saying that is Nephel. I just put it there to kind of like represent her as a fun thing to look at. So then that picture on the far right, that is a depiction of Aries, the god of war, bloodlust, and courage. All right, so the king had this fleece put on an ancient oak tree in a blessed grove dedicated to Aries. Now, because of what the Golden Ram actually did with his heroic deed of saving the children, Zeus elevated the ram to be a constellation in the celestial realm, in the sky. Okay, this honor granted the ram a prestigious place among the stars and served as a seasonal marker for farmers across many cultures, since the constellation signifies the arrival of spring and telling farmers to start sowing their crops for the year. Because of this, the constellation Aries is also associated with rejuvenation and nature. And you'll see there at the bottom, I have a depiction of the constellation of Aries. And as far as it being a seasonal marker, if any of you may have noticed, the dates are, the beginning date of Aries is March 21st. The first day of spring for this year was March 20th. Okay, so it very much signifies the arrival of spring. So there you have it. That is the Greek mythology side for the story of Aries. And now we are going to switch over to the astrological side of things for Aries after I take a sip of water. Okay, so bye-bye goes this slide. And hi, hello, I'm still here. The rest of my body still exists. And dun dun dun, ta-da! Slide number 2. If you can't really read that and it needs to be bigger to where I have to like cover my face with this slide, let me know. Okay, but hopefully you can read that. Funniest god is probably Poseidon, the god of the sea and horses. Uma Musume! Oh, you can read it? Awesome, awesome. Cool. Good, good, good. All right, so for the astrological side of Aries, it is a fire sign and a sun sign. Okay, those born during this time are considered natural leaders and have a strong sense of purpose. They are confident, bold, ambitious, independent, and have fiery temperaments. Ruh-roh. So Aries as a sun sign. Now, you might hear me say certain terminology like several times in reference to different things, whether I'm talking about it being a fire sign or a sun sign or being ruled by Mars or whatever, because all of those things kind of work together to make the sign Aries what it is. So there's going to be like repeated phrases or terms, that sort of thing. Just FYI. So as a sun sign, their traits include leadership and assertiveness. They are also fiercely loyal and protective of those they care about. Now, those they care about is a general term, so we're not talking just romantic partners here. We're talking anybody. Romantic partners, other family, friends, etc. So fiercely loyal and protective of those they care about, and will always put their partner first. They are passionate, romantic, jealous, and possessive. Okay. So if you have an Aries romantic partner, watch out. Ruled by Mars, Mars represents energy, action, and desire. They are motivated by competition, so they're higher on the competitive scale. You'll find this competitiveness coming out both athletically and professionally. So it's not just competitive when it comes to like games and that sort of thing, but in their professional life as well, and doing well at their job, maybe even climbing the corporate ladder or whatever. They tend to be more on the competitive side. They are impulsive. They are ready to take action without much forethinking. So basically, like, act now, think later. They kind of just charge ahead, basically. They are also straightforward in their communication, which can lead to them seeming blunt and or aggressive by those around them. So that's not great. But that also means that they're honest. So you know what you're getting with an Aries. They don't beat around the bush, basically. Or they tend to not beat around the bush. Their straightforward approach also means that they can become frustrated with exhaustive details and excuse me, and unnecessary nuances. So that straightforwardness is basically let's get straight to the point. Give me the facts, give me what I need to know, and all of these other details, you know, to like further explain things or details that I don't need to like get my job done or that sort of thing. Aries is not going to care. Okay, just give them the details that they need, and that's it. Unnecessary nuances. We don't need to, you know, get lost in the weeds of, you know, this could happen, or what about this, or blah blah blah. What? No, nuh-uh. Aries don't care. They're trailblazers. They want to move ahead. They want to take action. Just give me what I need, and boom, I'm off. Okay. They don't care about all of the extra fluff, if you will. So on to strengths. And Aries' strengths are being courageous, determined, confident, enthusiastic, optimistic, honest, and passionate. Their weaknesses are being impatient, moody, short-tempered, impulsive, and aggressive. So you may have picked up that Aries, they're very strong personality-wise. They have strong personalities. They're very emotive. Their emotions very much come out for their strong personality. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing. When you think of having like a strong personality, that can have a negative connotation to it typically. I know it has, even like for myself, speaking of myself, having a strong personality can often have a strong connotation in my own brain. But that's not necessarily always the case. Having a strong personality or being very emotive isn't always bad. If you look at the strengths there for an Aries, one of their strengths is being optimistic. That's a positive thing. All right, that's not a negative emotion, that's a positive emotion. So, you know, on a good day, when, you know, an Aries isn't being explosive and, you know, their temper is flaring, because of their leadership quality, their leadership tendency, and wanting to move forward and take action, they can also be very optimistic and have a good outlook on things, and you want to move forward and let's go, let's get the job done, let's go do the next thing, all right. So they can actually be fairly optimistic people, not always just angry, you know, whatever, like is typically thought of an Aries. And Aries, so this is kind of an interesting little tidbit that I put in here, that it for an Aries' likes and dislikes, basically, that an Aries will typically like comfortable clothes, taking on leadership roles, physical challenges, and individual sports. And that their dislikes are inactivity, delays, or work that does not use their talents. So there's that little interesting sidebar for an Aries. Astrologers believe that each sign learns the lessons gained by its preceding signs, whether good or bad. Good lessons, bad lessons, the whole shebang. That each sign learns from its previous signs. However, Aries is the first sign of Zodiac. And being that they're the first sign, they don't have anybody to learn from, good or bad. All right. So they have to lead the charge. They basically lead the charge with blind optimism. They're just, you know, we're doing this thing, let's go. They don't have anybody to learn from, nobody to impart wisdom, that just, so they're just going. They're leading the way, and whatever happens, happens. They tend to act first and think afterwards, resulting in lessons being learned. Excuse me, in being learned the hard way. Oops. So if you're an Aries, maybe watch out for that. Try to slow down a little bit. They also tend to think every person for themselves, which can show a level of determination, which is good. But it can also mean that they need to watch out for that leading to selfish tendencies. That's not good. Though they aren't known for their fiery tempers, they do have a pleasant side to them as well. So I kind of referenced this a few minutes ago, that with their strong personality, that can often lead to certain negative emotions and whatnot. They do have fiery, quick tempers, which do flare up, but then they quickly fizzle out. But that's not all an Aries has. They have a pleasant side as well. And when not angry, they are actually fairly upbeat, positive, and playful. They enjoy living life to the fullest. They may excel at sports, like speeding down the highway, vroom vroom, and or organizing, say, like a vibrant party or party game. All right, they enjoy life. They like to have fun at life and experience things and have adventures and just they love living life to the fullest and just full of that energy for life, which you have that whole part of your personality of whether or not you're extrovert versus introvert, and you can still be an introvert while also being an Aries. That is possible. Just because you like to live life to the fullest and have adventures, and maybe you're good at making, vibrant parties or party games or, whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean you're an extrovert. All right. You can enjoy living life to the fullest and having adventures while also still being an introvert. Some of those things can be done being solo. Or if it's a party or a party game, it just because you say party doesn't mean there's like 50 people. That could also mean like a small, more intimate group of, say, like 5 people. All right, which is going to be more to an introvert's liking versus an extrovert's liking. All right. A party can still be like only 5 people to an introvert. To an introvert, that might be a party. That might be a lot of people. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Hi, hello again. Still here. All right. This here is a zodiac wheel. When placed in a wheel formation, the zodiacs have what is called their opposite. Basically, it's yeah, basically it's a wheel. Ta-da! Oh goodness. So every constellation has what is called their opposite, or basically their complementary sign. So opposite, again, it can be, when saying that something is opposite, that can have the connotation that they're like diametrically opposed, that they don't get along, or that it has some kind of negative connotation to it. But that is not necessarily the case here. Opposite, yes, they are different, but they can actually very much complement each other. That being opposite actually complements each other with their strengths and their weaknesses. Okay, so an opposite for an Aries is a Libra. Aries tends to be focused on self, on I. All right, they charge forward. They have courage and strength. They trailblaze. They're impulsive, etc. A Libra, a Libra has the judge balance scales as like their representation, and you can even see that there on this wheel in front of me. You can see the scales there that the person is holding. All right, they're a little bit more balanced, if you will. They are diplomatic, they're thoughtful, they are others focused. All right, they like to think from all different kinds of perspectives and seeing through other people's eyes. They are others focused and thinking about different people's perspectives and all that kind of stuff. Aries is just, this is my perspective, this is what I think, let's move forward, boom, and off they go. Okay, so their differences help to complement each other, because an Aries helps a Libra to be a little bit more decisive and maintaining self, so that way they don't lose themselves in being too focused on others so much. So basically, a Libra with thinking about other people's perspectives, and it's good that they're open-minded and that they have the ability to think from or see things from other people's perspectives. But if you do that too much, you kind of get lost in the sauce. And then you don't, what's your perspective? What do you think about things? Where is yourself in the whole big picture of all these different perspectives and ways of thinking and opinion and stuff like that? So while it's good to be open-minded and be able to see things from other people's perspective, you still need that part of Aries that is able to think about self and what I like, what are my opinions, who am I as a person, what do I think, what do I believe? All right, but then a Libra helps an Aries to see the good in slowing down, not being so impulsive, and working with others instead of just barreling ahead. Stop being so impulsive. Stop just blindly charging forward. It's good that an Aries is able to be a leader, and take charge and have the drive to just lead people and just go. But a Libra helps them to be okay, well, now, wait a minute. Let's think for at least 2 seconds put together. And yeah. So their differences help to create that bit of balance between the two of them. I'm reading something right now. I was actually researching this part of this morning. I don't recommend last minute stuff. I think I've done that one other time. I don't recommend it. It's not great. There is more that goes into it as far as love compatibility and having a harmonious relationship and stuff like that. Ooh, there is this thing about intellectual harmony between these two signs, that with their different approaches, both an Aries and a Libra actually enjoy intellectual stimulation. So in Aries, they're going to be passionate about their own ideas. Again, focused on self. All right. So they're passionate about their own ideas and their beliefs and things like that. And a Libra, because of their being more open-minded and thinking about other people's perspectives and stuff, they can introduce an Aries to new perspective and adventures. Wait, no, sorry, I had that the other way around. An Aries can introduce a Libra to new perspectives and adventures. That's what it is, because an Aries likes adventures. Sorry. A Libra provides a balanced mindset, there we go, to an Aries, and can teach an Aries the art of seeing an issue from multiple angles. All right, so let's not just focus on one perspective. It's great that you're passionate about that one way of thinking or that one way of doing things, especially if it's a way that works. But a Libra can help the Aries to be a little bit more open-minded and seeing other ways of doing things. Not being so close-minded and, this is the only way and let's just charge forward. Now, wait a minute. There's multiple angles here. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. And this dynamic, this intellectual dynamic between the two can be a good starting ground or a good cornerstone, if you will, for meaningful intellectual conversations between the two, and helping them to have a shared learning experience. So yeah. That's about all I've got as far as an Aries goes. Skin a what? Skin a cat. It's a turn of phrase. I don't know if that's maybe just a US thing and is not a turn of phrase in other parts of the world, but yeah, there's a phrase, a turn of phrase called more than one way. It's more than one way to skin a cat. That there's more than one way of doing things. That for a lot of things in life, there's not just one correct way of doing things. You've never heard that? Well, there you go. You learned something new. There's more than one way of doing things a lot of times, that there's not just one correct way, but there can be multiple correct ways of doing something, or in a way of living your life that works for you, yada yada yada. So yeah. More than one way to skin a cat. Oh, that's funny. Any questions, thoughts, comments? If you are watching this as a VOD, feel free to comment below on your thoughts about this. Yeah. Or things that you liked about it. And I can try to implement those liked things into future videos in this series. Yeah. This wasn't necessarily super hard to put together. It did take me a few days and some brain power. But I made it work. Sounds really interesting that they complement each other. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see as we progress. So there's going to be 6 pairings. The next pairing will be, what is that? Tarsus and Scorpio. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the opposites all pair up and how they complement each other and stuff. That'll be interesting for sure. So yeah, Aries, kind of impulsive, strong, fiery temperament, but also a lover of life, optimistic. Basically, they're just, like I said earlier, they have a strong personality. They're very emotive. They're just big on life, man. Their tempers can flare, but they fizzle out fast. But they can be optimistic people who just love adventure, love having a good time. They have drive. They're good leaders. They can move forward. They can help to encourage other people in their own projects. Aries isn't afraid to take other people's stuff on and help them out. Now, an Aries has to make sure that they themselves don't burn out because they're taking on too much in helping other people. Aries, people who are in Aries can be very good to have as working partners or as friends to help encourage you to move forward and to keep going and to have that drive and, ideas to be able to get the job done and all that sort of thing. So they can be good people to have in your life if you're needing somebody to just help you to or encourage you to move forward, or to accomplish a goal, that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for somebody like that. They might be an Aries. Yeah. So I myself have kind of had a little bit of a mindset, or I'm gonna get, because I'm just blabbing now at this point. Hi, hello, I'm back. I'm fully visible now. Have thought of Aries as, with it being associated with Mars and Aries, the god of war, that there's that negative, strong personality, fiery temperament, that sort of thing. So it's interesting to do the research on this one and see all of the positive qualities of an Aries, and how that makes them a more interesting, more well-rounded person. That it's not all just negative. Being able to do the research and see the positive side of an Aries, and what they bring to the table. And it would make sense that for each constellation there's going to be both a negative and a positive side, strengths and weaknesses, and how that can relate to having relationships with other people, whether that's a friend or family, romantic partner or whatever. This is interesting stuff. So it'll be interesting to continue this series. Again, I really hope that you guys like it and that you find it interesting. I definitely find it interesting. I am Celestia Libri. I come from the heavens. I like research. I love books. I love astronomy. I love the stars and looking up at the constellations, and that's where I come from, man. I was gifted from up there. So I really enjoy this sort of thing and the stars and all of that. Found out some new stuff. Oh, great. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it was fun for you, and I guess, you didn't say fun, but hopefully it was fun for you. It seems like you enjoyed it anyways. So yeah, so look forward to more of these in the future. I'm not sure whether or not I'll do kind of like another series in tandem. So this series is specifically the Zodiac calendar, so it's just talking about those 12 signs, but there's more than 12 constellations in the sky. So if I see enough interest in this, I might start another series talking about other constellations in the sky. And that can just be like a generic, you know, constellation series where I can talk about, you know, other constellations like King Cephas or Andromeda or Queen Cassiopeia, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot more constellations up there in the sky than just the 12 zodiac signs. So we'll see. Who knows? I might do that kind of a series as well. Because like I said, I love this kind of stuff. It's fascinating to me. I love the night sky. So yeah. But that is all I have for you today. Again, hopefully you enjoyed it. I feel like I might be a broken record at this point, saying the same thing over and over. But I really, really, really hope you guys enjoyed the series. I really do. I find it fascinating. It's something that I want to share, and so it'd be kind of a bummer if I want to share this stuff and like nobody's interested. That makes me sad. Please don't do that. Please be interested. So yeah. Gosh, my brain just went. Anyways, that's all I have for today. I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here. Look forward to, in a month's time, will be Taurus, which is a bull, I believe, B-U-L-L, a bull. So that'll be interesting. And so yeah, look forward to that in a month's time. And until then, I will see you all tomorrow. So have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And don't forget to read a book. And maybe study the heavens. All right. Bye.